Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fish Market Academy, where we teach you how to fish for gains. So in today's video, we're going to be exploring this farm on Phantom called Creditum. So if you found this video useful, do remember to like and subscribe, and let's get started. So here's how you can earn over 8k in a month on Creditum. And as usual, nothing I say is financial advice, and also note that because this is a high APR farm, and if there's a lot of TVL that gets added in, a lot of this APR can drop, and it's also dependent on the price of Creditum. So if it gets dumped too much, then a lot of the APR won't be that nice anymore. So just a disclaimer and for you to take into consideration before you enter this farm. And you also want to check the APRs when you enter this farm if you are seeing this video later. So with that out of the way, let's explore what is Creditum. So Creditum is a money market fund, which basically means you can lend and borrow on Revenant Finance, and that allows users to mint cUSD, which I assume means Creditum USD, by supplying LP and non-LP collateral. Right now it's only LP collateral, but I wouldn't be surprised in the future if there are non-LP collateral. But LP collateral is good because they are yield generating assets. Just to clarify, this USD is not Celo USD, which is Celo's own USD on the Celo network, which is a token and ecosystem that I'll cover in another time. So users are able to unlock their capital by basically borrowing USD on top of their LP collateral or LP capital and earn yield on top of the assets they already own. And cUSD is a stablecoin pegged by $1, and it's safe because it requires an over-collateralization of asset deposits. So each USD is at least backed by $1 of collateral, and as long as there are no exploits or no bugs in their smart contracts, your funds and your cUSD is going to be safe at $1, and you don't have to worry about depegging. So depositing on Creditum is pretty straightforward. It's on the Phantom network, so you do need a bit of Phantom for gas, but just a little bit. And once you have that, you can basically borrow or mint cUSD after depositing your collateral. And later we will show the two collaterals that are available for borrowing against. The amount that you borrow cannot exceed the max debt ratio for that collateral, and different collateral will have their own max debt ratio. If it's a stablecoin collateral, the max debt is like really high, around 90%, but if it's a volatile asset, then the max debt is usually a lot lower. Something to take note also is that the collateral has a mint fee, and this will be charged upfront. So if you're going to do this strategy, just know that you'll be paying a upfront cost before you even earn anything. And last but not least, there's also a mint limit. So if it's at max capacity, they cannot print out any additional cUSD, and you have to basically wait for the next USD to be replenished. The reason why they do this is to protect the protocol against risk of insolvency. So here's the farming strategy, and it's a little bit complicated, but we will walk through it. So the first step is to just deposit USDC into the Yen vault to get YV USDC. So YV just stands for Yen, V means stake, or in this case Yen vault USDC, if that is easier to remember. And then take this to deposit as collateral on Creditum and borrow cUSD against that, and then take the cUSD and put it into the curve pool that has the cUSD, and then after that get the LP token to deposit into the Creditum pool, and you receive credit token as a reward, and then you stake this credit into X credit, and basically every single step of the process you'll be earning additional yield because you'll be dealing with a lot of LP assets or staked assets. So this is basically taking your stablecoin on steroids. So strategy 2 is really similar to strategy 1, just that instead of staking your credit, you basically just sell your credit into cUSD, and you just repeat the whole process. So here's a further breakdown if you want to know the individual APYs for all of the different steps. So USDC into Yen Vault on Phantom is earning about 20% APY at the moment. Just again take note, this APY is not fixed, so it's going to be variable, and next day you see it, it might change drastically depending on market conditions. So once you have your YV USDC, which is again earning up to 20%, you can actually put it and borrow up to 90% of cUSD on Creditum. And generally, you won't have to worry about the pegging because stablecoin and stablecoin, they are usually very closely pegged. And you don't have to worry about cUSD depegging and getting you liquidated because it's more of your YV USDC that is going to be depegging. And YV USDC does increase in value over time. So actually, your liquidation price gets lower and lower actually. So this is a pretty good way to ensure that you can maintain this position for a long time. And then next, you deposit your borrowed cUSD into the Creditum curve pool to receive your LP tokens for earning transaction fees. And then you add your LP tokens into the cUSD2 pool on Creditum, earning credit at 79% APR. And then the last step is to just stake your credit rewards to earn X credit at about 184% APY. So if you do the whole process, an initial deposit of $50,000 would earn about 105,000 USD at the end of the year if you take everything out. But this is of course if every single rate stays the same, and of course the price of Creditum continues to stay the same and doesn't go up or go down. So for farming strategy 2, instead of staking your credit, you just sell your credit for cUSD on SpookySwap and then put it back into the curve pool to auto compound it, or more like manually compound it. But of course, at any time, you can choose to stake your credit to earn X credit at 184% APY when you are done with selling your credit tokens. So just a quick tokenomics breakdown, pretty straightforward. Team allocation at 17%, Revenant holders at 17.2%, and then the treasury and emission at 65.8%. As always, please do your own research and just know that this is more of the degen farm, so don't be surprised if the whole farm doesn't make much profit or much sense after a couple of months if the price of Creditum drops too much. Hope you guys found this video useful, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!
Baby fish do 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 do, baby fish do 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 do, baby fish do do